G'day, welcome to another explosive edition of the RDFNL Netball Show. We're highlighting and building up the big grand final. My name's Yeendy, I'm joined by Kim Bailey. It's a very exciting time of year, Kim.
Yeah, great to be back for the grand final edition of our netball show. It's been a big year, been a long year, and it's maybe a little bit of a final that we didn't expect it. Well, I think everyone had written in at the start of the season to be a Macedon and Romsey, but look, we've got Lancefield upsets, and that's what we love to see.
We do have that big grand final, but before we discuss that, we'll go wind back the clock to the preliminary final weekend, and you got behind the Tigers, I got behind the Centrals, and you come away with a win in that one.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. I don't think Lancefield, they had control of the game virtually from go to woe. Beck Morabito played, I think, maybe a quarter and a half and come off with back spasms. But, you know, she could tell that she wasn't on song to start with. But in saying that, they brought on Vanessa Seddon, and she played really well, shot at 87%. So I don't really think they lost a hell of a lot apart from the experience. But Vanessa did really well, but Lancefield, you know, that they did come out to play, and it was, a 9-goal margin, but it felt like a lot more than that, to be honest.
Particularly after quarter time, because Centrals did lead by 2 goals, but then Lancefield shot away in a big turnaround.
Yeah, but it still seemed like they had control of it. And look, T most probably played the best game I think I've seen her play so far in a final series in goal attack, and she just dominated and shot lovely as well. Maddie Gay took Sally Potbury right at the games. I think she had to nick off to go and work or something like that. So Maddie had to leave, but she was extraordinary and just shut down Sally, and just they couldn't find that pathway to the goal ring. And you know, they looked really, really good. Lancefield, and Paula Broadstock in the centre played really well, and she's a nice strong centre who moves the ball really hard down the court. Taylor Watson was just dominant wing attack. They had winners everywhere really, and really deserved to be there. They had a great game. By
the sounds of it, the feel is that it was the game that they needed to have, because if you go in all the players, they've relatively dictated a game in the week leading up to the grand final. All their players are in top form against a side, particularly Centrals, who we've spoken about over the last few weeks. They are good when it comes to finals, and they showed that early.
They are, and look, having Beck be injured is most probably not the ideal situation, but you know, you've got to match up. And Rita White-Kay went back into defence at one stage, so Randy pulled that move and put her back into GD just to try and close T down. But she was just too strong on the day. She was magic. And then when Beck hurt herself, that's when she moved back into the into the attacking line and went back into goal attack. But you know, as I said, Lancefield were just far too good on the day. Yeah,
definitely, and a great win for them. It sets up what promises to be a massive grand final. And we look at how these two teams match up, Kim. They've had some of the best games this year during the home and away season. I love their fixtures. They faced off in round 5 and 14. Romsey walking away with the wins at both occasions, but scores were level on both games at 3/4 time. I know finals are a bit of a different ball game, and we saw that in the second semi, but I like that from the two sides. 38 apiece in round 5 and 30 apiece at 3/4 time.
Yeah, so I think the first game it was 1 goal difference, and what was it in the second?
3 goals.
3 goals, and that first game in particular was a bit of a rough and ready old game, and Lancefield threw everything at them. But you look at the last game, that second semi, I think it was, or the
second semi.
Second semi, and it was the biggest margin. It was 14 goals. And I just think that if you look at Romsey's team, their experience rose to the top. Al McDonald, Sarah Sosolski, Amelia Brock, Chelsea, they've just had that experience playing finals, and I really thought that shone out in that first game. Look, you know I've picked Romsey all season, Chris. I think they've been sensational, and it's going to be really hard for me to pass over that. But I think a good matchup will T and Steph Symes. Like, Steph Symes is such an underrated player in this league. She really is. And, you know, if they can keep her out of the game, I think the key is if Romsey can keep T out of the game, I think they will win it really comfortably.
Yep.
In saying that, Romsey, as Lancefield, have to keep Millie Brock out of the game. But interesting, what did they do? They got Hope Evans sitting on the bench as well. I think Hope has been a little bit injured, so hopefully she's up to it. But that they can do some moves. Chelsea into goal attack, and Bronnie Blair should be back as well, and we know how well she played in that first final. I just think they've got too much depth. I think Sarah will most probably close down Courtney Arnett. She's an A&L defender. Really interesting game. I think a battle I'm really looking forward is to watching Al McDonald and Maddie Gay in the centre court. I think that'll be a great contest, and really looking forward to that. But to be honest with you, I can't go past Romsey. I think, they've lost one game for the season.
Yep, and that was to Macedon.
And that's to Macedon, yeah. I just think they're just far too strong all over the court. But credit to Lancefield, they've done a great job, and I'm sure they're going to make it a great game. If we can get it close as that, I'll be very happy indeed. Yeah,
I no doubt the Tigers will be looking to that home and away form. There's a little bit of inspiration, but I think they're heading into the game as better form as they could possibly be.
Yeah, well, and that's what you want. I think, as I said, they dominated that game without really, to me, they look like they're in about second or third gear. I reckon they've got another cog that they could go up from that. But
they're going to need to get to that level, Kim.
They have to. Yeah, you have to. And that's what grand final. And, you've got to get your teams peaking at the right time. And I think Alan is doing that. Whether it's enough to beat Romsey, I don't know. If
Romsey get up, who's going to take on the best on-court honours? Who is the player that you think will stand out on the grand final for them?
Oh, gee whiz. For Romsey, there's a number of players. I really like Al McDonald in the mid-court. Steph Symes has been fantastic. Sarah is another great player. I'm going to go with, if it's Romsey, I'm going to go Al McDonald.
Yep.
If it is Lancefield, I'm going to go T, because I just think she's a fantastic player as well.
Well, she's going to shoot them into the premiership, essentially.
Yeah, look, she shot 81% when they played Romsey last time, and she shot at 91 last week. But she just effortlessly moves into the ring, and they find her. And Taylor Watson seems to have a bit of a sixth sense with her, and she can hit her under the ring when she needs to. And she just floats outside really gracefully, and her closing speed into that ring is amazing. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
What time does it tip off?
1:30. We'll be ready to rock and roll. So first game is at 9:30, which is the under-19. So we've got a big card. Rupertswood and Macedon in the under-19s kicking off at 9:30. 10:45, we have Rupo versus Diggers. I think it's 12 o'clock. We have Diggers and Rupo, and then the big game, Romsey and Lancefield at 1:30.
Oh, what a day of netball action. And we've seen some really close results all the way through, which has been very pleasing.
Been a great season. Been a fantastic season.
And it'll finish with a big one this weekend, 1:30 p.m. Get down there if you want to catch the A grade. But if you're a sports enthusiast, you'd be there for the first one in under-19s.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it's going to be a great day too. So
over at Romsey Park on Sunday.
Looking forward to it.
Kim, thanks so much for joining us, and look, what a great day is in store.